So folks, good morning from Liberia, good afternoon, good evening from those of you following us from across the globe. This is Today Liberia Television. I'm coming to you live from the Civil Law Court here at the Temple of Justice, Central Monrovia, as we bring you the essence of CDC Chairman Augustus Jangar Kowo visitation at the Civil Law Court. And folks are here going to explain to us in depth concerning his visit here.
We want to say good morning, and we are a team of journalists. This morning we've converged within the premises of the court, particularly right before the Civil Law Court, where we've seen the presence of the chairman of the main opposition Congress for Democratic Change, or CDC you call it. And journalists, whenever you see such a person, you want to know what are the issues and all of that. So we are here this morning and we thought to ask the chairman of CDC. Chairman, good morning and welcome to our microphones and our televisions.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
You want to tell us why is it you are here this morning?
Yes, I'm here this morning in follow-up to a bill of information filed here at the Civil Law Court. As you may be aware, there have been news around about the status of the CDC headquarters that will be evicted and all that. It's a long story. I mean, the CDC been occupying the headquarters in Congo Town for the last more than 1 decade, and that property has been on subject of litigation between the families. In 2016, there was a judgment in favor of one of the families, the interstate estate of Martha Stubberfield Bernard, represented by Mr. Ibrahim Demsper, they won the case. And the CDC since then have been doing business with Mr. Demsper, paying rent to him. And we have been in negotiations and discussions about purchasing the property. But upon receipt of a letter from the lawyers of Mr. Demsper, charging $4.2 million for the property, we in the process of negotiating to see how we go about the purchase. We were notified that there's another case at the Supreme Court on the same property. So we wrote the lawyers of Mr. Demsper, CDC being a law-abiding institution in the Republic of Liberia, up there to write them and say, oh, this property is still a matter of litigation, and so we will continue to pay rent to you, the rightful owner, and pending the outcome of the other suit that is pending at the Supreme Court of Liberia. We got a letter indicating that we'll be evicted, trying to enforce a right of possession that was issued since 2016, which in my opinion is moot, because we have been doing business with Mr. Demsper, where we are his tenants. So a right of possession cannot allow to be issued against us, because the property is technically already in his possession. So you cannot come to repossess a property that is already in your possession that you receive rent for. We paying you rent. We are paying you rent up to 2023, and we are in discussion with you. So the issue of repossessing the property from the CDC cannot lie, because that particular issue is moot, because the property is already in his possession. We are paying him rent. We are not asserting title to the property. We're asserting title to the property. You try to repossess the property from the CDC. So we filed a bill of information with the Civil Law Court, and the case emanated from the court, and giving the Civil Law Court these pieces of information. Says the 29th of August, we have been making follow-up. Our lawyers have been making follow-up with the Civil Law Court to see whether we can have an assignment so that this matter can be heard. Because in Liberia is a country of law. Every citizen, every legal citizen, every natural citizen of the country has got the right, when you feel aggrieved on any matter, the best place to run is the court. And that's why we came to the court. And we expect that the court, which is a major bedrock of Liberia's democracy, which is the bedrock of the rule of law, we expect that the matter will be heard.
Have you received a redress from the court as per your bill of information?
We have not received a redress, and we are wondering why the delay in hearing this matter. This matter should be heard. We are not asserting any right, but we are indicating that this information needs to be brought to the court, and the court needs to pass on it. And we are calling on the judicial stakeholder to take note, calling the government, international community to take note of this matter, because the CDC, as a law-abiding institution in the Republic of Liberia, that lost an election on a thin margin of error and surrender power peacefully to the Unity Party government. And that's a clear demonstration that we are a party that believe in democracy and the rule of law. And that's why when we have issues, we come to the court, and we expect the court to get off due process, because due process is one of the fundamentally guaranteed rights under the Liberian Constitution. So the court should not be turning away whether it's Liberian citizen, whether it's an institution that feels aggrieved. So we call on the civil law court to please assign this matter and hear it. Hear the merits of the matter. You can dismiss it if you think our claim does not have merit. But to refuse to hear the matter is a denial of justice, is a violation of the Liberian Constitution, and we think it's counterproductive for the peace and stability of the country. And so we thought that, the sense that we see here this morning is important for the country to know, for international partners to know that the CDC is a law-abiding institution, and then we have filed some papers here at the civil law court, and we expect the matter to be heard. And we need to understand why this matter will not be heard. Whatever decision is being made against the bill of information that have been filed, it should be done, and then we'll take advantage of other remedies under the law.
So, Chief, there's the information and name clarity on concerning the CDC purchasing that particular spot. There have been this rumor in corridors that the CDC purchased that, and it's now saying that you've been renting for over decades.
Yes, so CDC has not purchased the headquarters. As a matter of fact, the property that houses the CDC headquarters belongs to a family. The family have been in dispute, they have been in court. As we speak, they are still in court. So we have been paying. So in 2016, when the judgment came down for one of the parties in the case, we've been paying rent. So you cannot issue a rate of possession on us, because we have been paying rent to the landlord. The landlord is already in possession of the property. So that's the case.
So, Chief, lastly from my end, don't you think of a risk on the part of the CDC knowing fully well that this particular land is encrusted between members, and you are still there paying rent to one party?
Yeah, because as a law-abiding institution, whenever the court recognizes the right of a particular party in the case, we are not obligated to do business with that party, and we've been paying. But we are law-abiding. We didn't say because we were running the government, we're in power, so we try to abuse power to take what the heck us. No, because we are a party of law, and that's why we've been engaging. But we see because we get the information, we get been notified that a writ of possession has been issued, which in our opinion is moot, because this property is already in the possession of Mr. Ibrahim Demsper. The CDC is not accepting ownership, so you cannot try to repossess the property from the CDC. The CDC is paying rent to you. The CDC is paying rent to you, so the court should not be issuing a repossession order against us, because that order is already moved. The mayor is already in possession of his property. If he wants to evade us, he has a remedy, but he cannot use the case, because that case has already passed. We recognize the judgment. We've been paying rent. So that's the point, and that's the information we have filed with the court, and we think the court is under legal, judicial obligation to hear the merits of our information we have filed.
Okay. My name is Jeremiah. I report for Focus on Liberia. What attributes can you render to the delay you're talking about as it relates to the civil law?
So maybe the judge of the civil law court can better answer that question. But what we know, anybody who goes to any court in Liberia, that person should be heard. Because if people go to court and they are not heard, it's a recipe for chaos, it's a recipe for disorder, it's a recipe for the violation of the Liberian Constitution. So I cannot answer for the judge, but the judge is properly situated to say, so we are considering other options. Maybe we consider issuing a right of mandamus, because the judge is under obligation to hear this matter. Because when we come to court, the Constitution provides the right to all citizens, whether legal or natural, that when you are aggrieved in any matter, the way you go is the court. The court should always hear you.
Yes. Do you see politics being played in this case too? Where do you think if the Supreme Court impose an invasion as a party?
So what we can say is that we know the court will not go ahead to enforce without hearing, because we are before the court. We have filed papers before the court, and we are sure that the court will not go ahead and try to enforce any judgment without hearing the bill of information. Because under the law, we have remedies, and we are taking advantage of all the remedies under the law. And we expect that the courts will comply with us, will give us due process, because due process is fundamentally guaranteed under the Liberian Constitution, and that's why we run to court. When citizens run to court, they should be granted due process, because failure by the court to hear matters before it, whether for whatever reason, you must hear the matter, dispose of it. And that's why we are here today. We came because since the 29th of August, this bill of information has been filed, and the lawyers have been coming. We have issued a written request for the assignment at the Civil Law Court. It has not been granted. So maybe the judge can better explain why, but I know no judge can say you cannot hear a matter. Your duty is to hear the matter and render your judgment. And then we can take whatever the judgment is. We want to take appeal against the judgment, we take appeal against the judgment. But you cannot refuse to hear a matter that is before you.
Thank you, Chairman. I got a few concerns, please. Number one has to do with your own explanation has to be corrected. This matter before two families currently as you speak. And then one family won a case before, which of course the Supreme Court sent down that no judgment down for enforcement. Now you as the CDC, you are not an actual party to this entire case.
No, we're not.
Right? Why further better information?
Because
where's the person?
Because the writ of possession is being issued against us. We're not a party. We're not accepting ownership. So technically, the bill is not being issued against us. But the crux of the matter is that Mr. Ibrahim Demsper is already possessed of the property because we're paying him rent. So that's the crux, and that's the thesis of our argument. So you cannot say writ of possession on us, but we're already paying you rent. So we are your tenant. We are your tenant already. We're paying you rent. You collecting rent from us.
Is he claiming now that he won't let people leave? And if that is the case,
apparently
in your possession, are you telling him to give you some no time? That
no, it's not an issue of time. We think that the action is improper because you are possessed of your property. So you cannot do that. We're occupying the property illegally. No, we are not occupying the property illegally. We are occupying the property with your acquiescence, with your consent, and we are paying rent to you. So we are not occupying the property illegally. We are not accepting ownership either. So right of possession against the CDC will not lie.
So in a sense, are you willing to leave?
Of course, if it's the determination, we are a law-abiding institution.
Now that the conflict is like this.
Come again?
Now that the conflict is like this, will you peacefully say
no, so
you are just being
you are trying to juggle the issue. The issue here is we are a tenant to somebody who won a case. The person is already in possession of the property, and the person is insinuating that they are not in possession of the property, trying to repossess the property from us. No. We can be paying rent to you, and you say you're not in possession of the property. It's your property, we're paying you rent.
Mr. Kowo, do you care to just tell us what are some of those points that you are raising in the bit of information?
So some of the things I'm explaining, that there's Mr. Demsper is already in possession of this property. We've been paying him rent. We have a relationship with him since 2016 up to 2023. We have settled him for all of those periods. We are in negotiation to purchase the property. So it's not a property that the CDC is occupying illegally. The CDC did not abuse its power in 6 years to try to take over the property using abuse of power. The CDC is a democratic institution. That's why we handed over power peacefully on a very thin margin of error after President Weah lost the elections. And we expect that the rights of the CDC under the laws of the country will be protected. And we call on the courts to take judicial notice that when we are agreed, we'll run to court, and we expect the court to give us due process. Because in the absence of giving the CDC due process, you'll be inviting unnecessary problem in the country.
So, do you think Mr. Demsper is being influenced to add the way he's
Probably. Because we think it's being influenced, because you can see the United Party government, since it came to power, has been in violation of all the laws of the country. And so that tells you that it is possible. See, the government recently invaded the headquarters of the CDC, both on August 5th and on August 22nd, and shot almost 500 rounds of tear gas and other armaments in the headquarters of the CDC unprovoked. The government is said to have procured a 40 search and seizure warrant and used it to enter the CDC headquarters. So we are saying the government should focus on the challenges the country faces rather than trying to interfere with the progress of the CDC, because it will be counterproductive.
What's the status of that issue now?
So we recently received a letter from the Minister of Justice inviting us for an investigation by the Joint Security Investigation Board. We think that letter was in error, but we have replied. And when I get through here, I will share a copy of the reply with you, because we do not. The Ministry of Justice supervises the Liberia National Police as well as the DEA that were active at the CDC headquarters. So we do not see any impartiality in the handling this matter. And so we have written that if the government is serious about impartial investigation, they should request the establishment of an independent panel to investigate this matter.
Chairman, is there anything that we didn't ask you that you want to talk about so that we can call it a day?
So basically, we want to say thank you. We want to call on the Civil Law Court to hear our bit of information, because it's a matter of right. The judge there has a legal obligation to hear whatever documents are filed before the court, because it's a court of records. And so we pleading with judicial stakeholders to take note of this particular issue and hear the CDC Bureau of Information have been filed with the court. You can hear it and deny it, it does not have merit, but you have an obligation legally to hear it.
Thank you
very much.
That was the voice of CDC Chairman, Augustus Kowo. Thank you so much.